So I mean, there's a lot of people obviously that are in a lot of debt these days, me included. That's part of the student loan process these days. Apparently, the system kind of, the college spending is going up and up and up. Tuition's going up, and yet are we necessarily making more money to pay for it? We're starting our lives and our careers, our dream careers, with tons of debt. I mean, I went to I currently go to Arizona State University, and I made the choice to go to college and out of state college. But even then, I had to get student loans. It's pretty much impossible to pay for college these days on your own. So I had to take out a loan through my credit union, which they've been great about it. At least giving a better percentage than what the public gets, and it's not doubled, but it's still quite an amount that I got to pay back. But, half $100,000 is quite a bit to pay back for a piece of paper that, in all honesty, I don't know is I'm benefiting as much as what I'm paying for. So I mean, if I were to go back and do it a little bit differently, I don't really. It's hard to see that there would be another way to do it. You can take the risk, similar to what Steve Jobs will do, what Zuckerberg did. All these entrepreneurs that kind of dropped out of college and did their own thing. That those are few and far between. Unfortunately, today a college diploma is the equivalent of a high school, or a college degree is equivalent to a high school diploma. So we're kind of stuck in this catch-22. Do we want to start our lives with all this student loan debt? These people that are going to be lawyers and doctors. I mean, they start so far in debt that they're up to their eyeballs. They can barely live. And the system, it's got to change. It's got to be something where it's something that's affordable for everyone. Even then, if it's paid for. There's a couple programs that have been starting up in Oregon where you pay it back over your career. You like 2% of your paycheck will go to this. In the long run, yeah, you end up maybe spending a little bit more money, but you're not slammed with these student loans right when you graduate. You're able to really kind of build your career, and 2% of whatever you make at that time, that's what you can do. It's just something that is a little bit more workable in today's society, because we're seeing a big shift in society. We have more people going to college and more money being asked for, and there's not as much money available for these college students. You hear that we have broke college students, and it's the truth. You go through college and you're pretty broke because you're trying to pay for student loans. You're trying to pay for, whatever you can. And these schools want more money for you. At ASU, there's a $250 parking pass a mile off campus. To park right on campus in the best spot is $700 a year to just park your car. I mean, it's the stuff that's happening around schools, and what they're charging is just completely absurd. For I go into a classroom and the teacher doesn't know my name. Some of them don't even speak very good English. So we got to kind of look at the quality of what we're getting in our education system right now, and really see if that's reflected in the price. And should we be going so far into debt for this reason? I mean, should we be loaned this much money? You see some of these other companies popping up, like Coursera, based out of Stanford. I mean, it's an online free education, because the ultimate goal of college, and what we've been trying to achieve all through society, is education, to learn, to teach. And obviously that comes at a price, but it doesn't have to be so high. And I think that's a question that really has to be answered. And one side is obviously saying yes, the college, they're probably pretty happy with the money and the buildings that they can build and the new innovations that they can create. But when we graduate college, living on canned food and trying to survive by paying back student loans for information that you may not necessarily remember 40 years down the road that you took on a test. Is it worth it? I don't know. Would I do it differently? Unfortunately, no. Simply because that we're stuck in this society that we need the college diploma. So the diploma, being the ultimate goal, is needed regardless of how you have to do it. So student loan payment, make ends meet. But future, it definitely has to change. And I think we're on the very close verge of it. Free education is starting to make a comeback, and colleges are starting to kind of reach these points of going, what are we doing? Why are we spending, students are wondering why does your school cost so much? Is it the experience? Is it what am I going to get out of it? So I think these questions need to continue being raised, and answers need to be given by these other people, educated answers that aren't just like, we're providing you with an education. Well, what kind of education? Is it a good one? Is it a bad one? And you can get reviews on schools, but I mean, a lot of these schools are really interested in just doing research. We've had a lot of teachers or professors, if you want to call them, come into Arizona State as, just professors that they're researchers. And that's primarily what they do. They're not professors. So when they're given a class to teach it, they're not teachers. So they don't really teach the material in a way that a student is really going to learn from them, because there's teaching and then there's teaching. You have the teachers that will just regurgitate information, put it up on a PowerPoint. And then there's the teachers that teach you lessons along the way and the why you're doing something. And that, I think, has to do with the quality of the education. So unfortunately, the college system has become such a cash cow that we've kind of lost sight of, what the whole point of education is. And I think the student loan debt, as terrible as it is and unfortunate as it is for me and a lot of other college students, I think it really is a catalyst, and an integral tool in really changing around our education system and making this problem less of a problem, and something that can be worked out. And because everyone deserves an education, and there's no reason to live, practically on the streets just to pay for a piece of paper. There should be more to that. A little bit more compassion, a little bit more hardworking for each other. It's not just about the school at the end of the day.